Hey everybody, welcome to Arizona Japanese Classics. I'm Sunny, and this is our first video we're uploading to the channel. So why did we start this channel? Well, after attending a lot of the local car meets, or even searching for car content right here on YouTube, we discovered that it is overwhelmingly dominated with American muscle cars, early American classics from the 40s and 50s, or even high-end exotics. But let me ask you a question. Do you remember driving a bright orange Datsun pickup to high school? Do you remember your mom driving you to practice in a Civic hatchback with houndstooth interior? Would you prefer to be looking at Celicas and Skylines instead of Corvettes and Camaros? Well, if so, this channel might be of interest to you. Those Japanese classics are still out there, but too often times they're just overlooked, and it does take a little more digging to uncover them. That's why we decided to start this channel, to serve as a space to bring these fuchsias back out into the light and give them the attention that they deserve. Now, these aren't all going to be show queens. They can be daily drivers, project cars, resto mods, or even circuit racing cars. As long as they're Japanese built and over 25 years old, we want to feature them on the channel. Now, what's coming ahead in this program? Well, we're going to start off by heading down to Queen Creek, Arizona, and attending the Queen Creek Cars and Coffee. Now, this meet has grown into one of the largest monthly meets in the entire state, and it's one of the largest cars and coffee gatherings in the nation. This is the fall 2024 season opener, and they are anticipating a huge turnout. Hopefully, we'll be able to uncover a handful of fuchsia gems among the hundreds of cars that's going to be in attendance. Now, after that, we're going to head over to Surprise, Arizona, and visit with Greg Childs at the Datsun Ranch. Now, Greg and Becky Childs have put together an eclectic collection of Datsuns. He's got sedans, coupes, wagons, pickups, cars from the 60s through the 2000s. So you don't want to miss that. Now, we want to thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy this content, and let's start searching for cars. All right, we are here at the Queen Creek Cars and Coffee, season opener of the fall 2024 season. It is a capacity crowd out here, hundreds of cars in attendance. And we're going to start walking the line looking for vintage Japanese cars. We got our first find of the day, Honda Acti. Little utility truck. These are very popular. I don't know what year it is, but it has to be over 25 years old to be brought over here into the country. Very clean. Really nice condition. Let's check the mileage. It's showing 12,279 kilometers, and it looks to be that clean. I would say that's original. Acura Integra. Civic SIR. It looks like the Honda guys have shown up today. There's a whole line of what appear to be around late 90s Hondas. We're gonna walk this whole line. Another Honda. Nice racing seats in there. Advan racing wheels. Someone snuck a Nissan in here. GTR. Another Civic. These all look like they're late 90s to me, so
Like I like the brush. Raw. I like that. When the chrome comes back, I'll be like, wow, people are going to go to chrome now again. Yeah, exactly. Now there's like some music coming out. Oh, yeah. Freestyle influences in it. I'm like, oh man, like, what's going on?
A couple of generations, they run out of ideas.
it's a later model Lexus. As well as the GTR. Nissan Pulsar. I thought I had this on video and my camera was not recording. There's so much glare on my screen I can't tell when it's actually recording or not, but yeah. I ran into that just trying to take I think you've got the only Pulsar here for sure.
Yeah. I walk around looking, don't time for it.
No.
I saw another Nissan there in the corner.
It's a Cressida, Toyota Cressida. Day of the Hondas out here. Another one here. Honda Integra. Sylvia. Right-hand drive.
It's
Got the Shacken inspection reminder sticker on there. It is getting really warm, guys. We are expected to hit over 100 degrees again today. And they're saying on the weather that will mark the 110th day in a row that the Phoenix metro area has hit 100 or more. And these are the dog days of summer. Sun has been roasting us for 4 months, but October is right around the corner, so we're looking forward to that. This has no emblems, no hood emblems, no grill emblems, but I believe this is a Subaru. And it does say Subaru on the steering wheel. Right-hand drive. So if you know what model of Subaru that is, you can tell us in the comments because I don't know. And I think the Honda guys win today. Yet another Honda. This is very similar to the one we saw just a minute ago. Integra Type R. '85 Supra, guys. I couldn't tell you when the last time I've seen one of these on the road. '92 Toyota Crown. Thank you, Frenchie, for bringing this one out. Super clean wagon here. Got the roof rack. We'll get to the interior in just a minute. It's got some cloth for the sunroof blocker. But you know this car came from Japan because we have the doilies on the seat. Doily seat covers. You gotta love it. Oh, these actually have crown embroidered into them, so I don't know if that was a option from the factory or it's just maybe some aftermarket support for the Crown brand, but super clean car. Cloth interior, gray over gray. Power windows, power locks. This is what it's all about right here. I could look at these cars all day. All right, full disclosure, this is my personal vehicle I brought to the show today. This is a 72 Mazda Cosmo Sport. I'm sure most of you know this was the first production vehicle that Mazda used the twin rotor Wankel engine in. It's had one repaint, but other than that, it's all original. If I had to hazard a guess, I would say there were probably around 20 of these cars brought over into the North American market now. So far today, it's been called a Lotus, an Alpha, a Jaguar. Nobody knows what it is. When I tell them it's a Mazda, they all have that shocked look on their face. So it's the original houndstooth interior, Clarion speakers. Of course, I know more about this car because it's my own car, so I'm gonna pop the hood, take a quick peek. And I did do some detail work on the engine bay after I took possession of this car. But it is still the 10A twin rotor engine. And everything else has pretty much been left stock. You don't really want to modify these. They're so rare. There were only 1,176 of these built. And I just feel like this is a car that should be left in its true state. So I've tried my best to keep everything. It still has the breaker points ignition. Pretty much just like it left the factory. Has around 62,000 kilometers. And I'm happy to report she ran just fine on the way over. Miles to Cosmo Sport. All right, guys, well, that's going to do it from Queen Creek Cars and Coffee. I would have liked to seen a little more older Japanese classics. It looks like we got a lot of late 90s Hondas. I think an entire Honda club showed up today. But we'll take them as we can find them. We're going to keep hitting up these shows and looking for some interesting vintage Kyushu cars. So that's going to be it for us today. Everybody's starting to roll out early, I think, because of the heat. And there was a very serious traffic accident in the road right in front of the car show. And between that, I think people are just ready to get out of here and taking off a little bit early. So that's going to wrap things up from Queen Creek. We're going to take you over to Surprise, Arizona, and visit Greg Childs on the Datsun Ranch. Let's go. Greg.
Hey, Sonny. How's it going?
Do you have some time?
I do. I do. We've had lunch and we're good to go.
Well, this is Greg Childs, and thank you for having us over here to what you refer to as the Datsun Ranch.
That's it, yeah.
And what an amazing collection you have here.
Thank you, thank you.
Something tells me you've been at this quite a while.
A long time, yeah. So this particular building we built in 2014. We had all of our cars. We had a house over about 4 miles from here in an HOA community, and we had 5 shoved in a 3-car garage. So we decided when the kids moved out, it was time to spread out a little bit, and Becky was kind enough to tell me that I could build a shop.
Let's get into it.
All right. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with this one here.
Oh,
it looks
boy.
like this is a work in progress.
Work in progress. This has been a long process. So a little back history on this car. Becky and I have been married 15 years, and this car is kind of the reason we met, at least part of it. So I had built a 72Z with an RB25 swap, and she hit me up online one night and was like, "What color is that car? I love that color." And that's how we started talking. And at the time, I didn't really know what I was doing very well. So the car was complete and running and driving, but it was the shell, the frame itself was not in the best of conditions. So when we got married, it became her car, and she loved it. And I always promised her, I would redo the car for her at some point and do it properly with everything that I've learned. And so this is a 75 shell that was on a rotisserie for a year. Tons of reinforcement, tons of stitch welding, tons of custom work, and it's been a long project. But this was a complete, down to the last nut and bolt disassembly resto mod. So still got a long way to go, but we're in the assembly phase of putting it all back together.
How many hours would you say you have into this right now? Or
Oh my
you
gosh,
lost track?
I'd be afraid to even count. But suffice it to say, the car was. I started on this project 3 years ago, so it was on a rotisserie for at least a year, if not longer.
These for the Z car build here, or this for a multitude of projects?
That's for a lot of stuff. Yeah, yesterday was plating day, so I went and picked up all my plating that had been stacking up over the year, and I'm just in the process of sorting. And actually, it's a good that's probably a good segue into another little pet project. So when you're doing this stuff, you want to have a stockpile of fasteners, and they have to be organized. So this cabinet is all metric fasteners for various builds, and I will not live long enough to use all of them. But it's really nice to be able to walk over here and go, yep, I need 2 of these, and they're clean, and the threads are good, and they're ready to go.
Let's move on to this wagon here. What year is this?
This is a 1967 Datsun 411 wagon. So this would be chassis code WRL 411. This was, and I guess if we can give a little personal touch for all of these, this car was assembled by Becky and I instead of a honeymoon. So instead of going on a honeymoon, we built a car. I had bought this when we were dating, and it was pretty raggedy. So we spent a month just making it functional again. These came originally with either a J13 engine or an R16. So this is a triple S, so it would have come with the R16. And this is a stroked motor, so it's now a 2-liter.
This is one of the favorites, right, when you take it to shows?
Kind of seems to be. I think it gets a lot of attention. The kids like it. I think everybody can enjoy it and appreciate it. So a great little driver. I wouldn't hesitate to take this on a pretty decent long drive. So
well, in Arizona, of course, you have your air conditioner here. I'm sure that's keeps you very cool inside.
Yeah, oh yeah. It works about as good as not having it at all. So the old Thermador, great idea, but the actual execution was not fantastic. So
there's actually like you put water inside of there.
Correct. Yeah. So you'll fill it up with water.
The road, the fan.
Yeah, and it doesn't. Nothing spins. Nothing really moves. It's just
the rush of the air through it.
And so you have to be going about 50 miles an hour for it to do anything. And in Arizona, you run out of water in about 15 minutes. So it's kind of like the surfboard. It's there for show, and it's a good conversation piece.
Well, this is one of my favorites. I always enjoy seeing this car.
Well, her name is Alice, and she's I gotta say, I think she's probably Becky's favorite as well. So
okay, so we'll move along. Now this is a pretty big jump in time here. This was a 67. And what do we have here?
This is a 92 Sentra SER. You know, one of Nissan's economy cars, but with the larger engine. And these, you know, you can do, whoever's watching can do your own research, but the SER was kind of followed on the heels of like the E30 BMW. Just a really capable sports touring car. Yeah, pretty formidable in the autocross community for what it is. I mean, for a front driver with a 2-liter, they're just a blast to drive. Very well balanced, and I love the fact that it just kind of flies under the radar.
And how long has this been in your collection?
Had that for about 5 years now.
Okay.
We go to this one. We took to the SER convention last year, and probably take it again this year. It's completely stock. When I found it, it was fairly unmolested. It hadn't been modified, and I loved the fact that it was a slick top, no sunroof, and a 5-speed. So it's basically in its condition it's in now is the way you would have bought this car brand new.
Okay, now we're going back to the 60s for sure.
Yeah, back in time.
Now, you told me this is the only one of these in the United States?
Believed to be the only one of its kind in the U.S. This is a 66 Datsun Bluebird, so it would be a Japanese spec car, right-hand drive. Not too terribly different from the 411 wagon, but what's unique about this one is the fact that it's a 2-door, and with it being a Bluebird Deluxe, it had a few more little creature comforts, and it's more or less all stock and as it was when it was built.
Has this car been restored, or is it all original?
This one's been restored.
Okay.
I would say probably a light restoration. Don't think it needed much. The interior and the paint have been redone, and so this one would have the smaller engine rather than having the R16. This one has the J13.
Well, that is some wild interior, even for the 60s. That's
Oh, for sure. There's another iteration of this one, and I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of the fabric they used. It seems to me like it's peppermint something, but it's more of a red, and it's got like a silver thread going through it, almost like tinsel. And it looks very much like what you would see in a 50s American car. So,
of course, we got the fender-mounted mirrors.
yeah.
Button turn signals there.
She's dusty. She's been sitting for a bit. It's a little warm to take this one out for a ride, but
Oh yeah.
Manual transmission on the column. So
Okay.
if driving right-hand drive isn't difficult enough, you throw in the fact that it's manual shifter on the column, then a little more challenging. You have to learn not to hit the turn signal.
This is so. We're basically looking at a car that most people haven't really seen in person before.
I got to tell you, I had never
here.
seen one. It was the first one I had seen, and bought this one from a very dear friend who is the expert, the worldwide expert on 411s, Tom Neely. And you know, if it's a 411 and Tom doesn't know about it, then something's amiss. So
it still has the Japanese, I believe, is that a registration
I think
sticker?
it's an inspection decal.
Inspection?
Yeah.
Amazing condition. I mean, just amazing.
It's a neat
So
little
it's
car to
showing,
drive.
33,000 kilometers. So it's been very well cared for, or
It has.
or a well done restoration. But I think it's probably,
Like I said, I think it
pretty
was more
solid to start
cosmetic.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more cosmetic than anything. And like I said, she's a little dusty right now, but it's a neat little car. It's quiet, very, very comfortable, believe it or not. So the Deluxe, I think they were kind of trying to market towards, actually, we're trying to get women to buy them. And so, you know, some of the little features and whatnot would have been appealing at the time. So yeah, it's a neat little car. I enjoy it. So this is a 1964. They would call this an NL 320. So at the time, you know, if you were looking at one of these at a dealership, be it as it may, they would have called it just a sport truck. So a true unibody design. People always say, oh, that's kind of like a ripoff of the Cameo, the Chevy Cameo. Well, the Cameo actually had a bolt-on bed. It was just blended in nicely. This is all one piece.
so you're referring to right here.
Right.
On most any other pickup, you would see the bed is just, there's a gap there behind the cab.
Correct.
And
So
it would be bolted onto the frame.
Yep. So an L320 would have like a utility style bed, like what you're talking about. And this one was just, you know, this truck really appeals to me because it makes you wonder, like, what were they even thinking? You know, you buy a pickup for utility, but then this has actually some really cool style to it. You know, with the unibody design, and, you know, the trim, and just being a more attractive vehicle than your standard work truck. And so this one is the second NL that I've owned. Again, this one was bought from a very dear friend here in town, kind of an eclectic collector. And I was getting ready to start restoring my 63, and he showed up one day with this, and I went, wow, so that's what mine's going to look like when it's done. So he didn't have room for it, so he saved me the trouble of a restoration. And this one she gets a lot of attention as well. So pretty neat little truck.
And do you know what years they built these?
So these were built from, you know, there was a version that was done earlier, going back to 61, I want to say. Datsun experts, don't be mad. I might get this wrong. But roughly 60 to 65. And then this made way for the 520 pickups. But very few of the NLs were built. Best guess is around 1,000. And most of them obviously didn't survive because they got used as trucks. And, you know, they don't look like much, but it's a half-ton truck. It can handle a payload. So you just won't get anywhere very fast.
So another something very rare that you typically would never see going down the road.
Oh yeah, probably not.
Even at shows, really, you just don't see them.
Yeah, there's very few of them left. You know, 1964, Japanese cars weren't super popular anyway. But somebody actually went out and bought this in the United States and said, you know, this is the truck I want. And I thought, you know, when most of the trucks on the road were, you know, big lumbering beasts, and, you know, they buy this, whoever bought this has this tiny, fun little sport truck. Again, this one's also standard shift on the column, 60 horsepower on its best day. So it's not going anywhere fast. But again, just a neat little truck to drive. And
you want to pop the hood on this one?
Sure, can do. This one,
I was like, we haven't shown a lot of these engines.
that's a fact.
They are small.
This one, what's interesting about it is on the NLs, the cabin is actually 6 inches longer. So I do not necessarily fit in a L320, but I fit in this one. So little E1 engine, 1200 cc's displacement.
How is it for you? You've owned this truck for quite a while now.
I've had it for, I want to say 3 or 4 years now.
Okay.
Maybe 3 years.
So what, like, just basic maintenance, like thermostats, radiators, and stuff, are these like impossible to find?
Not terrible. You know, this engine has a bit of a history. It's basically and I'm going to get this part wrong because I'm off the cuff, but these engines were produced under license, I want to say Austin at the time. And so a lot of the components from the British cars are going to be a direct fit onto this. So at least that helps a little. Yeah, we're just talking about cars, right?
That's what we're doing. And these are some amazing cars.
Thank you
I mean,
much.
you're seeing things that you would probably never see anywhere else. I mean,
Well, I hope so.
You just don't. We attend car shows and you just don't see these come out unless it's a very specific
Right.
Japanese car oriented
Right.
show. But
That's for sure.
your typical show, you would never see something like this.
No, if you, we've actually taken this one up to one of the local Cars and Coffees, and you know, it's just like any other show. You know, you've got the guys with the 57 Chevys and the 40 Fords and the T-buckets and whatever, the 68 Camaro, and we roll in with this, and everybody turns their nose up, and I'm like, well, find another one of these. I can find a 68 Camaro. You can't find one of these.
Exactly.
So,
and that's what we're looking for on this channel is you know, the odd and the eccentric and the things you wouldn't see somewhere else.
We like them odd.
In addition to this collection, you also kind of put on a charity car show every year.
We do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Can do. So we do an event up in Williams, Arizona called the Route 66 JDM Classic. This is one of our little plates that we gave out a couple years ago for the event. And it's a really cool event. It benefits a charity called RSK, which is Raising Special Kids. Helps out parents and caretakers of kids with special needs. And the people that run that charity are just amazing. So we got connected up with them, and they've been real good to us. So the show is always the first Saturday in October, and it's very laid back. If you've got a Japanese car, truck, motorcycle, whatever, that's 25 years old or older, then that's where you should be. And what we do is we close off Route 66. We park right on the road. Again, it's very laid back. It's a good time to get together with people in the community and just hang out and have a good time checking out cars. We do raffle prizes. We have some sponsors that help us out. And again, we really pride ourselves on it being a real laid back show. If your car's not done, bring it. Because we really like to let people know that it's really not about the cars. It's about the people. And we're real proud of the community that we've put together. So if you can find your way up to Williams on the first Saturday in October, we do a meet and greet on Friday evening where we all have dinner. You pick up your registration packet, and then Saturday morning, bright and early, you grab your spot, throw your lawn chairs out there, and it's just a good time.
Thank you so much. That's you know, it's one of the shows we always look forward to every year, and it's for a great cause too. So it's a win-win.
It really is, and hope to see you guys there. You can get more information at route66jdm.com.